morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift live broadcast of the 3R Super Critical Race Series, mini-series. There are 4 races in this series, and today I was actually not fully expecting to see such a big turnout. Some of the big hitters, actually. Last week's winner of the Callis Cup, actually, we are seeing James Phillips, as well as some of the Dropouts boys jumping in here. Evoke is in here as well. So some of the bigger, as well as draft is showing up. So looks like we've got a race on our hands. Now, it does look like, as far as the general classification goes, 1:22, 1 hour and 22 minutes, 55 seconds, with Brett Boniface leading the charge. Evoke is right on his heels with Brian Hodges and Adam Zimmerman, both at 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 56 seconds. Something pretty cool over on zippower.com, if you want to go check it out, is that they are doing general classification, so you can follow along with the series over there as far as the general classification goes. They also do have a point series. I'm going to go ahead as the riders are jumping out on course here in just a moment. Looks like Hodges currently leading that, actually, ahead of Brett Boniface with 76 points and 2 third places. Looks like Boniface there in second, Adam Zimmerman in third. The boys are getting out on course right now, it looks like, and as they do, we are going to jump in with the racers. As I do see, it looks like Dig Deep Coaching is who we are going to jump in with right off the bat here in just a moment, as it does look like Dan Fleeman, who I believe made a jump, though, over to Indoor Specialist. So he does have DDC in his name here, but Dan Fleeman, ex-UCI Pro Racer here, has jumped into, as you can see, the Indoor Specialist kit. Now, this is going to be 16 laps out on the Crit City course. Downtown Dolphin is what we are going to be running on out here today, and it looks like we've got 62 racers coming out of the pens. Now, we're sorry about the camera angles. We're getting them all set up and fixed here. There we go. So we're good to go now from here on out. Karlik here coming out of the Netherlands, 4.5 on the front. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this course, each and every lap they are going to be hitting this little bump in the road. It's the KOM. Each and every time. It takes them about 15 to 20 seconds to climb, and it is usually all out to the top. It is the one place where people can try and make any kind of a getaway. If there were more riders, I would be saying that there is no possibility to get away, but with the number of riders that are in this pack, I think there may be a chance, especially with the smaller numbers from each one of the teams. 3R, though, does look like they've shown up to control the race. Perhaps we could see them giving a solid kick off the front, though, and sending a few riders perhaps off the front to try and make something happen. It'd be obviously a little bit more interesting if the riders do try and pull some moves here. 3R on the front, though, we are seeing, it looks like. I was chatting a little bit with Wheeler beforehand, and he was saying he was getting ready to try and make something happen specifically for 3R this week here. We are seeing a Hugo here with Reese. Agner's there as well. It looks like Phillips. Now, James Phillips, current reigning national champion of the UK, is in the race, and he has been showing up week in and week out. It does look like he's got a little bit of support out here as well. I'm going to take a look through and see what other riders are coming in from the Canyon ZCC team, but I believe I did see at least 2 of them in the race for the live, for the sign-up. So if you do want to follow along with the race, you can do so over at zwiftpower.com. Go ahead and go over to zwiftpower.com, and you can find the race in the events list. It does look like we also do have the link to the stream over there, which is pretty awesome. Always a big thanks to zwiftpower.com for all the support. Looking at the sign-ups, though, it is going to be Siri Hildonen, actually. Good to see Siri jumping in from the women's side of the Canyon ZCC team, and looking perhaps to hang in with the boys. I'm looking through the pack here. We'll see if she's been able to hang in all the way through for the duration of the race. I am seeing the kit there on the right-hand side. So racing the crit amongst the men. We'll see if she can show them how to ride a bike. It'd be pretty awesome to see the women showing up the men a little bit out here today. Now, if you do want to jump in with the broadcast, bring any comments, let us know who your favorite riders are, who you think the predictions are going to be, questions or comments about what's going on with ZCL, what's going on with Zwift. you can go ahead and bring those on in. We are following along over on YouTube as well as Twitch and Twitter and Facebook. So those are the places we are watching the comments. And as they do come in, we'll go ahead and share those that are relevant to the broadcast. Lap number 2 here. It's going to be a fast race out here today. You know, the first lap was done in about 2 minutes or so. You know, looking at this, we're looking at probably a 32 to 33 minute race. We'll keep predictions, though, on what exactly the times are. ETA is over on ZwiftPower.com, an amazing tool as well. If you do go to the live tab over at ZwiftPower.com, we're looking at a 39-minute prediction. I think that's going to come down a little bit as things do heat up throughout the race, though, actually. So do you see Brooks here toward the back coming from Vision? Siri here on the back here. We'll see if she can hold on. 4.6 watts per kilogram, 160 beats per minute. Phillips here right next to him, so does look like the riders are supporting each other. Keeping it calm here early on, I believe. Not going to worry too much about any of these moves early on because I believe the pack is going to be able to cover anything that does give a go early on here. But there are a couple off the front, as we can see. Go ahead and see if we can find where the early moves are taking place. It does look like it is going to be Brooks making his way to the front, 6.7 watts per kilogram, covering the move here of Maassen, as well as our Anderson from the Z Sun team at 177 beats per minute. They got a little bit of a gap over the top of that climb. That's going to be the section each and every time. Now, through here on this flatter section, as we go by the esports stage, there is an opportunity because riders usually are recovering after the catch up and over the top of that KOM. We could see some counterattacks through each one of those spots, though. We are looking through here. So, Larry Parker, thanks a lot for the question. Coming on through, we are not involved with the beta racing tomorrow. I do not believe the beta race is going to be, this is a great question. There is a beta race going on. Zwift is doing some cool beta race testing that you may be hearing about. Well, the weekly windup is going to be coming out later tonight. We had a little bit of delay on the weekly windup. There's some announcements we are waiting for to get out there, as well as just some timing that we needed for the weekly windup. But weekly windup tonight, we'll go ahead and give a little chatter about what's going on with beta racing on there, but that is unbroadcasted by ZCL or Zwift as far as I know. And if you do want to catch it, though, I do not believe there are limitations on the riders broadcasting it, though. So a lot of times if you head on over toward the Twitch directory, you will find riders who are streaming it. And that's the main thing that we like to do during those non-broadcast races, to support the community that's out there putting in the effort to stream. One of the main places you can find all those streams is twitch.tv/Zwift for the game directory. Oh, game directory, excuse me. There's a specific game directory for that, and we can get a link out there for that as well. But just go ahead and head over to Twitch, find that game directory for Zwift, search Zwift. You'll be able to find that pretty easily. So Phillips here now, 1 second back, as you can see from the attack coming off the front here from Reese. Doesn't look like that's going much of anywhere, covered pretty quickly. Well, as Steve Pink here now from the dropouts. I was racing Steve over the weekend. This boy can hammer. He is an amazing time trialist. We did the KISS 100 race up and over the top 11 times Watopia forward. And Steve got me in the sprint this past weekend. We're going to blame it on the mountain bike this week. He actually sent me a little message in chat that was great. 13 laps to go, 13 laps to go. Little message in Facebook chat saying, you better not be sat on top of the server, because he is over in the UK, as I think he knew it was going to come right down to the line. Solid race in there. Steve, we'll see if he can hang on for the duration of the race out here today and win the sprint out here. Amongst these boys, Nathan feel a little bit better about perhaps losing that one here. But Dutch here to the front, along with Stilling now. Anderson, Monday, Wood from Innovation is there as well. It looks like Gleason from 3R now up toward the front as they head back by on the 13th lap of 16 out here. We are seeing some predictions out here coming through from Lionel Villasin, actually coming through and saying Siri for the win. Oh, no, it's good. Show him how it's done, Siri. Lionel, good to see you in the stream, as always. And it sounds like Villasin, for those of you who do want to catch the beta race tomorrow for the men's beta racing, you can do so over on Lionel's stream. He's actually got a pretty awesome stream set up. We did see Claudia Barron as well streaming this morning. So Canyon ZCC, most of their team does stream well, not most of their team, but a lot of their team does stream the races. So if you do want to jump in with Canyon ZCC anytime they are racing, a lot of times you can find their streams. Go ahead and hit those follow buttons over on Twitch on each one of their streams and put on your notification bells. You get a notification anytime that they do go live as well. So it's a great growing community of riders and viewers who like to encourage each other on and be a witness to the suffering. That's one of the main things that motivates a lot of the riders that do stream, is that it is just an extra witness, an extra eye on what you are doing. That, look, I said I'm going to do this and I'm going to complete. If it's a workout, if it's a race, if it's a fondo, if it's a group ride, whatever it might be, a lot of times just having those extra eyes, just like when you get into an event in real life, you have that extra pressure to do well in that event. And a lot of times because of that, the stream becomes kind of like that event on what you are doing and pushes you that much more. It's what I really like about having that up here. So Adam Zim saying so as well. Thanks a lot, Adam Zimmerman, for sharing that up. Appreciate that. So it sounds like there's going to be plenty of people streaming the race tomorrow. People are going to have all kinds of tabs open. Nathan Guerra is one of the few that ended up on MTB yesterday and just said it came out. Good to see you there, Sean McAfee, hanging out in the broadcast as well. Has to be the most casual 10 minutes of a race in the Crit City I've ever seen. We're hearing from James Hodges. It does look like it's been pretty chill. I haven't seen too many orange numbers so far out here today, as I think the riders are waiting perhaps for a little bit of moves from the current series leaders out here. Boniface is out there from the dropouts, so I'd be watching out for Boniface perhaps to make some moves. He is currently, I believe, sitting, looking through the Zwift Power results right now. I believe Boniface is the one that needs to be making the moves out here because of where he's sitting in the overall right now. General classification, we're going to check this one more time. And it is going to be a 122.55. So he's currently winning the general classification. Excuse me. Brian Hodges and Zimmerman, they're going to be the ones that are going to have to be making moves out here with Evoke, because there is a reality that they don't make moves. They're not getting that 1 second back. Now, they could get a second or two, though, over the top of this climb and into the sprint. I have a feeling you may see a lead-out situation. Pantaleer here now, as we are speaking about Evoke, is making a move here up and over the top of the KOM climb now, as it is 9 watts per kilogram. There's the orange numbers, as Hodges is asking for them, asking you shall receive, it looks like, as Pantaleer is showing how it's done with 9 watts per kilogram. Schwartz there covering it, though, from the dropouts, and that is because he is Boniface's teammate. He's going to shut that right on down, or go with him. Schwartz there, coming across here, now 2 seconds. These are two riders that could make something happen here. Schwartz now 7.7 watts per kilogram here. Pantaleer needs to jump back on terms, it looks like here. Anderson with Z-Sun, it looks like Woods there as well, 3 seconds back. Brooks now from Vision, it looks like Vision, the solo rider from that team, going to try and make a move here at 6 watts per kilogram, and maybe not make a move. He's going to drag the peloton right on up, it looks like, to the wheels now. Dig Deep Coaching there. Indoor specialist is now trying to jump back on terms. Well, actually just letting everybody know that he sees James out on course there, perhaps. There was some sort of chatter going on from the indoor specialist there. But it looks like DDC/IS, they're keeping things pretty chill here at this point. I'm going to have to keep on remembering. I keep on seeing the DDC in the name. I'm going to have to ask him to change up the tag there. But it looks like I'm at 3,000 meters away. What is going on with all this chatter? These boys are talking too much. There's no racing going on here. Everyone's just talking to each other. We need like in Dota 2 where they have like tips and like little things that they can like give like little tips and prods and jeering and different kinds of ways that you can throw some shade at your competition over across the way here, and maybe get everybody to start pedaling their bikes a little bit more here, but we'll have to wait and see. I think this is all a distraction from when the real moves are going to be happening here, but we're waiting for them still. Pantaleer gave it a go. It was shut down here. Now it does look like indoor specialist with Fleeman is making his way to the front now. We'll see if this is going to work out for any kind of a serious move. Hutch now also on the move, as you can see. We'll see if this is going to be an attack here on there. I believe this is 10 laps to go here. We are seeing Phillips here, not to the front. He's going to keep it super calm. Phillips has been unstoppable as of recently in the sprints out on Zwift here. In almost every race he has jumped into. One of the strongest sprinters we know of out here. He is riding solo. No, not going to be any lead-out train like we saw in the Callis Cup for him this week here because of the lack of teammates. But perhaps he can jump on to the 3R train or perhaps just blow things apart with a couple of laps to go here. So incoming sprint here from Zimmerman for the win. We're hearing from Greyhound and Whippets now. Zimmerman says he's not racing. He's not in the field. What is going on here, Zimmerman? What is happening? Adam Zimmerman not jumping in. Currently sitting third place overall in the mini series. Looks like taking a break out here today. We'll have to look through and see if Hodges is even in there out there today. Looking through the sign-up list and for Evoke. And it looks like it's just going to be Sean Pantelier, actually. So it looks like the boys from Evoke are taking a break. Most likely because the beta race is tomorrow. A lot of the riders may be taking it a little bit easy out here today, and doesn't sound like Adam Zimmerman is on the baby duty today. So make sure if you do want to see what baby duty looks like, follow Adam Zimmerman on Instagram. His story is packed with it, that's for sure. This dad can relate ×5. So Reichert here, KC, definitely going to be one of the favorites for the sprint across line out there today in the black and yellow as they make their way to the front here for the next lap. And this seems to just kind of be a group ride. We're on the Tuesday night group ride out here today as everybody's just kind of chatting along. I rode a Turbo Trainer less than 10 times in 20 years until 2 years ago. So lots of chatter coming on through. Everybody's just got their companion apps open. We'll see if everybody can get them to put them down here in just a moment. And now we do see Reese now backing off as 3R takes over at the front. Austrang there from SK now to the front here. It does look like the Vikings now starting to take over in that blue, orange, and white accent kit. And now low here. Always an aggressive rider. Maybe going to shut the pack up here with the move. We'll have to wait and see as it is Davies, BRT. No, 6 watts per kilogram. Brooks here. Everybody very timid out here today. I think they're really waiting up for the sprint, trusting that this is not going to go anywhere. No, Masson here now. It looks like 9 watts per kilogram real quick. That's just a kick to stay on terms, it looks like here. Swart now over the top, 1 watt per kilogram, it looks like, as he backs on off, knowing that this ain't going anywhere on that downhill. It's going to have to be a lead-in, most likely, into that climb that's going to make something happen out here today, as we do see Masson taking over at the front, the Dutchman, 178 beats per minute. And we're hearing Adam Zim saying pretty mellow group right now. I'd have to agree with that 100%. But I have a feeling things are going to get crazy out there in just a few moments as we get into the final laps, that's for sure. Reese Howell letting us know that the rest of the team is in the beta race tomorrow. As there is a lot of the teams, I think, are resting up. As you can see, Phillips, the only one out here today. Tom Bovary cheering on his teammates there with 3R out here today as well. Looking through some more of the chat as they coming on through. Good to see you there, Jens Weigert. Welcome to the stream. As he says, thanks a lot for sharing. And a little bit of a cheer on from Stephen Tweed, long-time Zwifter. Good to see Stephen in the broadcast here. Go on Liam Bard and the 3R race crew. So always good to see the community showing up and cheering on their favorite teams, as well as the long-time relationships that have been formed through the world of Zwift out here today. It's amazing how this digital world has connected people. So speaking of things that are happening as things are fairly calm out here, again, for those of you who've been looking for the weekly wind-up, it is coming out later tonight. There's also a Zwiftcast that will be recorded later tonight as well. I can't give you an exact time and date that will be released, but that's most likely going to be in the next week or so. In the weekly windup, I'll go over the topics that are going to be covered in the Zwiftcast, just as a look forward to what Shane and Mr. Simon Schofield and I are going to be talking about. Lots and lots to talk about, but plenty that'll be in the weekly windup, looking at what happened this past week as well as what's coming in the weeks to come. Some cool announcements in the world of esports and in real life events, as well as obviously some things that are happening around with the other tours and events in game that you can unlock some cool things. Some things that I think some people unlocked in quotes and got to ride around, maybe by mistake, but a little bit, which we will also chat about a little bit here once we get into the weekly windup later tonight. So again, if you're unfamiliar with the weekly windup the last 2 weeks, you can follow over on the YouTube channel and check them out. It is essentially what is going on this week out on Zwift. Just a quick 10 to 15 minute segment, not anything longer than that, letting people know what's happening. We do have some interviews coming down the line as well, about game development with Zwift employees, inside employees, as well as some interviews with some amazing athletes from in real life that have gotten some results after their time out on Zwift. Siri, it looks like one lap down. We'll see if she jumps in and helps out James as she hangs out with Tuna here from Cryogen. 148 beats per minute as Hildon is one lap down. Maybe she'll get a free lap out here today and jump in with the pack. Jumps up in the 6 watts per kilogram. Looks like she may be able to do just that. 44, 45 kilometers per hour. She's going to need a little bit more than that to hang on. Ned Bowen here now, looks like, from the dropouts as well. Hanging out toward the back here. Off the front, it was an attack. I wasn't going to highlight it too much because I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. It did get some wiggle room, though. And Egner here now, 4 watts per kilogram. Maassen, it was low, the South African, who's also always super aggressive. Shut right on down, though, as Maassen put out a solid 6 watts per kilogram for a moment here. Reichert now 3-3. We'll see if there's a counterattack into the next lap out here today. Again, 20 minutes in. We're 20 minutes in to this 38-minute race. It sounds like it's going to be about 38 minutes. We are looking at a total of 31 kilometers, so we are about a little over the halfway point as we go into lap number 8 here in just a moment. Again, there are no power-ups in this race, just so you guys know, no power-ups in this race. There is a series if you want to follow along. There's both a points as well as a general classification on time out here, and I have a feeling that because of that time situation, the likes of Brett Boniface, who is usually very aggressive, has been just following wheels. Look at him and Mike Schwartz here, just following each other here. Boniface, the supported rider here, I believe, from the two. Now jumping up, though, 7 watts per kilogram, making sure that the two of them do not get dropped off, it looks like. Looking through Schwartz, I'm not seeing him actually in the overalls here for the series, so I have a feeling that Schwartz perhaps not going to be a concern across the line for the finish. As we're looking at 38 riders, I have a feeling going to be out there in support of Boniface. We may see a lead-out train. I think some of the teams out here saw what happened at the Callis Cup last week, and that was something that we don't usually see. And I think that a lot of these esports teams are learning how to run a lead-out. 7 laps to go, as you can see here. And there's a reality, though, of the lead-out being so much different. We saw it last week out on that 6-train course. The way that Canyon ZCC set up that lead out was so far out. I think it was from like 2K to go. We saw Digner go. Philip Digner gave a dig, started that train up from way out. And because of that, the other teams had to respond and start burning matches so early. And the rest of Canyon ZCC could just start following wheels. And then we saw 2 or 3 more. We saw Lionel Viasen, we saw Stevie Young, and a few others really start to open up even into like 7 to 8 watt per kilogram, orange numbers actually, and Phillips able to just sit in and maybe not sit in, but ramp up to his 6 or 7, but not give his full on kick just as of yet. And the way that lead out train worked was, we haven't seen that kind of I wouldn't call it precision just as of yet, maybe due to the reality of the ability to find the wheels easily. There may be a tick rate issue there a little bit, or how the communication goes between the pixels and what you're doing at home, just a little bit out there. But we are starting to see, like, okay, this is how this needs to be done. And I think a lot of riders and a lot of teams have been waiting too long, not realizing how far out they need to go from. And, I think the days of Watopia forward on the downhill, wait till that little cave last 500 meters. I think those are kind of ending as these teams are growing and starting to learn how to pick up those paces and really lead things out well. It's pretty amazing as well. So looking through here at the chatter as it comes on through, and the Reese CC, good to see you there as well. And am I hearing that was one of the streams go down? Something about one of the streams going down. Greyhound, Nathan should be Zwift president. I don't know about that, but I don't appreciate the chatter though over there. Greyhound, 100%. Franny, good to see you hanging out in the broadcast as well over on Facebook. And Adam Zim, one of the riders who knows a little bit about this. Great to have him in the broadcast and chatting about what he thinks is happening here. And he says sprint tactics are changing. Races are more drawn out in a drag race than a burst sprint. And it definitely used to just be about whether or not you had that 13 to 16 watt per kilogram kick, right? And I can agree with that 100% there, Adam. And it's no longer in these bigger races. It's way more about finding a good position from a K to 2K out, and then holding that position and then kicking to the line. So, and I think that as far as racing in, that is definitely similar, I would say, to what we do see in the World Tour level sprints that are out in the real world. A lot of times you do have a drawn out drag race for sure to the line. Now, whether or not you're able to get enough draft for it to be similar in effort and how it ends up working out in the sprint, I'd say maybe. None of us, I don't think too many of us, besides maybe Fleeman, who is in the race out here today, can say and attest to what it's like to be in a long, drawn-out drag race UCI World Tour sprint. But we have to wait and see what maybe we can get a post-race interview one of these days about that and see what he feels about that situation, actually. So Lau here now with a little bit of kick. We've got 6 laps to go. Stilling REC 1910. Brooks there as well. Yama, who is currently sitting 4th overall at 122.57. Yama's actually a threat here to the likes of Boniface as well as Hodges and Zimmerman. They're going to overtake, actually, in this series, as it looks like Evoke has conceded those spots in favor of the beta racing tomorrow, though, actually. So Yama now kicking forward 3.5 watts per kilogram as we head into the final 10 kilometers here with 6 laps to go. Hugo from 3R now making his way to the front. Reichert now a little bit of a kick. And nothing going much of anywhere, though. It's going to stay pretty calm through this section. Looking through here, and good to see you there. Christian Badia says hello from Romania. Good to see you there, Christian. Thanks a lot for jumping into the broadcast. Reese here coming from Canyon ZCC, the team manager, saying, will be interesting if Zwift adopt some of the draft changes they are testing in the beta race. Then a lead out will be necessary. Good to hear that they are doing, following up on Zwift Community Live Test Labs events and doing a little bit of changes to the physics in game that we started out last summer with our test lab events. A little bit of chatter in the background about maybe bringing back the test labs. We'll see if that ends up happening. There's a lot of conversation of what to stream, what events to do, and how to do them. But very cool that they're running some of that and seeing how it's working out in the beta races. So Race Tactics 101, Adam Zimmerman saying, get on Phillips' wheel no matter what. And I think that is one of the goals of everybody is to hang on to the wheel. And now as Phillips is toward the back of the pack, though, it doesn't look like he's too interested at this moment, though, to make any moves. He's just going to be sitting in most likely till those final moments. Now, the question is, when will he go? This is an interesting sprint because of the final corner, a lot of times the kick does come on that little bump before the final right-hand turn, because that is when the gap opens up, and it's too late if you're already around that final corner and the riders have any kind of meters ahead of you. You open up a 10, 15, 20 meter gap around that corner, and they are not coming back. Reese here now in the orange, it looks like, making his way around to the front here. It does look like we have a little bit of a kick here from one of the 3R riders. And that is going to be Liam Bard, actually, 3R now. 1 second gap off the front. It does look like one of the dropouts boys now covering that pretty quickly here in the black kit now. Vikings there toward the front here on the left-hand side. Phillips now making sure this isn't going anywhere as well. Look at the UK national champion making way right to the front here. Hugo there from 3R now as well. Just following wheels, making sure that if his teammate is caught, perhaps that he could counter. Going to take the right-hand turn. This is what we're talking about, though. See that little bump right before this right-hand turn? That most likely is where you can gain a lot of speed, carry it over, and from here on out, it's just everything you got to the line. It's pretty much decided for the top 5 to 10 once you come around that corner. 4 to go, 4 to go. We could start to see some flyers here for those that do not want a sprint situation. Wood now to the front here from Innovation, as you can see on the far right there. Brooks is there as well. Oric here. Now, 4.1 watts per kilogram is the current situation. Looking to the back here, Wheeler, 180 beats per minute here. We're seeing Middleburg, Stingley, as well as Karluk here now. And the heart rate's, though, still fairly low from a few of the riders here. Moeller out of Poland here. 177 beats per minute, just hanging on the back. Mike Schwartz, we'll see how Schwartz doing at 153. I think things are pretty calm for the heavy hitters here at this point. A lot of times when you look at the A plus riders, get an idea of where their heart rates are at. You can tell what the pace has been like for the rest of the pack. Monday now making his way to the front, as you can see. Let's see if we can move up forward, as we do have one rider here giving it a go with the lead in now. And with a little bit of a gap, it is going to be D. Hutch now. Monday here, trying to follow it up, it looks like. Indoor Specialist here with Dan Fleeman now, 5.2, just shutting things down, it looks like, as Hutch is unable to get away. Set up well here for an attack, perhaps, or maybe just fade climbing up from the top here. Do have a DBR rider on the left-hand side. It looks like now Anderson, though, from the Vikings, 8 watts per kilogram. Looks like they're starting to get a little bit antsy here with some of their efforts now. 147 beats per minute here. Panty there, giving it a go, though. 8 watts per kilogram real quick. Punches to the front, backs right on off. Just looking to perhaps stay involved where he needs to be for the pack and make sure it does not go much of anywhere away from him. Always about holding to the wheels. You let anything go in a Zwift race, it could be over before you even know it. So a lot of times you do see riders get a little antsy. I personally get very antsy if the pack, if I'm halfway through the pack and it seems like it's moving that much faster than me, you'll see me give a pretty good kick to try and make sure it does not get away from me, because you open up any kind of meters, and if you're suffering at all, your race can be over very, very quickly now. So Jay Russell here from Bristol RC now making his way to the front, it looks like, trying to find that position. And the riders here, though, as they head into 3 laps to go, still keeping things fairly calm. No flyers just as of yet. I think this is going to come down to that instant replay for the line. We're going to have to definitely be it's going to be like playing an FPS game, I think, coming to the finish line, though, to follow each one of the riders. You know, this is definitely going to be fast and furious, and a lot of position changes in the last couple of meters to the line here as they come around that right-hand turn. But 25, 26K in. We've got 5K to go, 5K to go. Boniface, the current general classification leader, as well as sitting as far as points go, second place overall. He will take over that top spot if he is able to get anywhere in the top 5 to 10, actually. Matt Looker and Zakiyama are currently the next riders below him that are in the race. Brian Hodges and Adam Zimmerman are also in there as well, but they have not jumped into the race out here today, as they have foregone for the beta race that we've said tomorrow. Now we do see, is this a catch actually? Or did we have a little bit of a go off the front there? And I believe this is a catch of lapped riders. As we look at the total distance, it is going to be Siri, it looks like, being caught along with one of the cryogen riders. Stealing here now from RAC 1910 out of Denmark. Now we do have Wheeler here, 8 watts per kilogram. Give a little kick. Boniface now looking for position, perhaps. Nope, not going anywhere, it looks like, as it's just a fade climb and making sure that the position is well. Let me know who you think. Let me know who you think is going to win out here today. Boniface has got 6.2 to give on the front here. He is definitely flexing a little bit here. Looks like Fleeman's going along with him. This could be a flyer with 3 to go here. And 1 second between some of the strongest riders we know out on Zwift here. If they just let this get away, this might be said and done. The speed is going to be really fast to the downhill here. They're going to have to keep 7+ here. It looks like Boniface is going with them here, though. This is a great move with so little time left in the race. If they keep the speed as high as they possibly can, maybe nobody wants to make the chase here. The 3R boys are going to have to do something about this. Indoor specialist here. Keenan ZCC, they've got nobody. Phillips has no one to work along with them, but they've got to work together here if they want to hold on to this. They've got to push 6 to 7 watts per kilogram. It's got to be an all-in effort because they are sacrificing their sprint if they do this. But what is happening here is Boniface wants the time. That's what this is about, is gaining time in the GC here, and now it is shut down by Panther. Now Panther goes along with him, so now Evoke, dropouts, indoor specialist, all involved. The only ones that are not involved, it looks to be, is Canyon ZCC and 3R. It gets shut down, though, pretty quickly here. With those efforts, though, a couple of the riders that are in here are going to be on the back foot that maybe could get dropped off over the top of the next climb. Is the energy, is the power going to be in the legs from the likes of these heavy hitters, Boniface and Fleeman, as they come into the next kick, into the next KOM? Will they be able to push again and put some more pressure on the likes of Phillips and some of these other sprinters out here today? Looks like it's shut right on down, though, as Fleeman sits in a good position, though, right here to kick again. Will we see an attack here from Mike Schwartz, perhaps, though? The teammate of Brett Boniface from the Dropouts team. TFC with Utter Ridge now making his way to the front. Now 3Rs you can see in the blue and red kit, though. Monday and Blackburn there from the Dropouts. Rider that has not been very active up until this point, looking to maybe make a little bit of push here. Hagen going here now, 8.2, 8.6 watts per kilogram. Now here's a real kick there, up and out of the saddle there. You are seeing it. It is going to be Wheeler here now. Wheeler going from the Dropouts. Blackburn there going as well. Panther, they're following it up here now. Full on 192 beats per minute here. Blackburn, 2 dropouts riders off the front here. And this is the lead out. This is actually trying to soften up the legs of the other riders. That is exactly what they're doing. They are working for Boniface. That is what is happening here, as Blackburn has 6 watts per kilogram. Panther, they're covering it now. Ostring is there as well. This is going to soften up the legs of the rest of the riders here, and this is what's going to set up Boniface for the win out here today. Look at where Boniface is so well positioned, sitting in 3rd or 4th wheel here at this point, not moving from those front wheels after those initial attacks. Blackburn's still off the front here. Canyon ZCC with Phillips here trying to make their way to the front and set himself up well, allowing the rest of the pack to just carry him. But he's got to trust. But with the dropouts continuing to push off the front here, the team Dropouts here has came for this race, and they're looking to support their series leader here. Boniface sitting in 4.2 here at this point with 1 to go. This is where the nerves start to, the jitters, the heart rates are rising. People start shaking out the legs a little bit, waiting for that sprint, but will there be a flyer? Do you cover it? This is where the games start to be played, the strategy and whether or not it's going to play out. Is anybody going to give a go from way out here, knowing that the sprint is maybe just a little too much? Risk it, and maybe the pack sits in and does not make the chase. Reese here now making his way to the front, keeping the pace high. It looks like it is going to be the indoor specialist, though, with Fleeman. Interesting to see. Now the dropouts make their way to the front. No, it's low actually here. Early flyer here. 8 watts per kilogram here coming from him. 600 watts here now from S. Low. 178 beats per minute. This is a pretty good gap here at this point. He's going to have to kick it 9-10 watts per kilogram, though, out of this. He's got some distance here. Masson 4.5 now. It's going to go out to 3, I think, before they even hit the KOM. There it is. Panther now backing off. 11 watts per kilogram here coming from Panther. He is trying to ramp this up very early on there, looking for a split. This is going to be so incredibly interesting here from this point forward, because if he does get the split, it's just going to be a drag race to the line. Everybody just looking to hang on. He's got to string it out, though, so it's not a pack that's all bunched up. It looks like it is going to be bunched up, though. Looks like it's going to be a full-on pack situation. Schwartz, though, kicks over the top. He's got a gap here, it looks like here. Masson looking to go along with him here. Schwartz and Masson here. Now, where is Boniface? Boniface now sitting in 7.2 watts per kilogram. The dropouts, they start to ramp up their lead out with Schwartz on the front. It looks like that's going to be the only one, though, who can keep the pace high enough. Where is James Phillips? James Phillips here sitting 5.8 watts per kilogram. Right on the wheel there, Brett Boniface. But there's the gap. There's a gap between them. He kicks now. Where is going to be the final kick here? It looks like it's going to be Phillips here sitting in on fourth wheel. Fourth wheel for James Phillips. Will he still be the unstoppable one? 14 watts per kilogram. This is it. We said this is where he had to go from here. Boniface has got 15, but James Phillips is kicking again. He's going to do it again. It looks like the unstoppable 15 watts per kilogram, 1,200 watts. James Phillips, Canyon DCC, does it again. And Boniface ends up with a third, but it looks like he will secure his general classification here. But James Phillips perfectly sets it up around the corner. What a kick coming from the man. And it looks like Stilling from SK Rye is who we're on here because it just randomly jumped back for us here. But Phillips here taking the orange jersey as well and taking the win out here today. Let's take a quick look at that replay. What a kick there from Phillips. As we go back to the replay, you can see here, this is the moment that he went. And with that 15-ish watts per kilogram there, 12 watts per kilogram early on here, actually. It was from fifth wheel, that little bit of an incline as we were talking about where he came out of, grabs that speed, 71 kilometers per hour. Boniface there sitting on the wheel, but it was from maybe too far forward. As you can see where Boniface was, very far forward, but it's just raw power here from James Phillips. Regardless of the watts per kilogram, it looks like the power is just so incredibly high. 1,200 watts, 189 beats per minute. Boniface there fading backwards. And then with an extra little bit of a kick, Boniface actually comes back a little bit here, but Phillips holds on to the line here right behind Reichart. Boniface ends up taking third. Gleason there, it looks like fourth, and then Yama there. Yama going to grab some points, actually, as he is definitely one of the ones to be watching out in the series. We're actually on that rider right here. Good to see the Japanese rider here getting a solid result in the overall series here as well. Looking through the results, though, for today, I'm going to take a quick look at this, and it looks like James Phillips with the time of 38.41 out there, followed up by Ingo Reichart with 0.2 back. It looks like Brett Boniface there at 0.273 back from that. In third place, Gleason. Yama for fifth. Then it will be Joe Reese for sixth. Dan Fleeman for indoor specialist coming through for seventh. Matt Looker from 3R in eighth. It looks like Sean Pantelier followed up by Seth Stingley. Matt Brooks for vision. Mike McInger, Rune Blasmo, Patrick Wetstein, and Cyril Liu after that late attack for the BRT team coming on through in 15th place. So, all right, everybody, that's going to be it from me out here today. Again, apologies I'm not having the results graphics, guys. We're working on getting those going, but there's some back-end API stuff we got to work on in order to get that all coming on through. You can head on over to zwiftpower.com, though, and check it out on your web browser. The live results are being updated right now as we speak. If you want official results, these are preliminary results. You have to wait for the race organizers to update those. To hold on with this pack, if you thought we were talking about this pack being pretty chill, people still averaged 4.5 watts per kilogram for the duration of this race to hang on at the front here. The lowest watts per kilogram amongst that pack was the TFC rider, Seth Stingley, actually, with a solid 10th place overall. Waiting for that. Mark Worthington as well was in there for the BRT at 4.1. So still pretty insane efforts out there today, obviously. Guys, be on the watch out for the weekly windup. That's going to be later tonight. Again, we'll be also recording the next Zwiftcast with Mr. Simon Schofield, GP Llama. 2 a.m. my time is when we're recording that. Lots to be talked about, though, in the weekly windup. We'll be coming at you later tonight with that live, and you'll probably be watching the VOD, though. It's only a 10 to 15-minute segment. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I'm going to take a quick look at chat here real quick, see if there's anything extra important to chat about from all you. Any questions as well. It's all about the 30 seconds saving on the 1,000 watts. We're hearing from Zao, and I have to agree with you 100% there, as those last couple of seconds is where it actually is always at. What's going on here? Nathan's too focused on the race. Reese, what are we talking about here? I'm too focused on the race. I'm supposed to be focused on the race. Isn't that my job? What microwave? What color? What color my microwave is? I have a black microwave with silver accents on it. Just that, I hope that helps out. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I'm gonna go check on my microwave in just a moment, and we'll get the weekly wind up out later today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. As always, everybody, great job out there to all the racers, and hope you get your workout out on Zwift out there today. I'll be riding as well at some point if you want to jump in with me. And as always, everybody, ride on.